All right, guys. With injuries, nothing for now. Everyone returned back to the game, so we'll see if we have more for you guys tomorrow. Go ahead.
On that second interception, were Jennings and Ayuk supposed to be that close together?
Yes. Yeah.
What's the idea of that, having them only 2 or 3 yards apart on the hash like
No,
that?
just when he threw it, the timing of it, but it's just a clear route and an in-breaking route called dagger. It's very normal. Did it. We ran 3 times in the game.
Was that for the first interception? Kyle obviously was a big one down at the 10-yard line. Just how was that play designed to go, and what happened wrong?
There's just supposed to be a handoff to him, and we missed the handoff. And he tried to scramble out of there, and by that time, you don't want to throw it down the field because people are run blocking. So we just missed the handoff and made a mistake after it.
What do you see from Brock right now? 5 picks the last 3 games, no picks the first 5 games. Like, what's going on?
I made some bad picks there at the end. Thought he was one of the reasons we were in the game today. Some of those throws he made out there were unbelievable. The mistake in the red zone, missing the handoff was the biggest part. And then once you do that, you can't throw it or you're going to get the penalty. But on worse that he got the pick. He was aggressive, thought the mic was going to pass on that second pick, and the mic fell off right with Juwan. So just got to see it.
I think he was okay. He didn't have any effects from the concussion.
No, he wouldn't have been allowed to play.
I mean, right.
Yeah.
I know he wouldn't have been allowed to play, but he felt like he was as sharp as usual.
I mean, he had those turnovers, but I mean, the guy made some really good plays in the game. And when it came down to there at the end, and we're getting a little bit one-dimensional, especially that pick when we were backed up there inside the red zone, or the negative red zone was the worst one.
Well, you and Steve last week talked about, kind of marrying coverage to the rush. Did you think there were still some problems there in this? What did you see defensively?
I'll see more when I get to watch the whole thing in unison, but I thought, the first drive I thought was kind of, the most, how the whole day went a little bit. I thought our coverage was really good on that 3rd and long. On the first drive, it looked like we had about 3 different opportunities to sack them. Took a number of hitches. We had a bunch of guys there, which means the coverage and the rush was good. And then he got out of there and somehow moved the chains with his legs. So I thought our tackling was extremely sloppy today, especially in the first half. I thought we tackled better in the second half. But yeah, there was too much space.
What was your message to the team that you're going into a bye week with?
I'll talk to him more tomorrow. But my message was we got to take that. I mean, we didn't play well. That team beat us straight up. We talked about tackling better, talked about having less penalties. And I think we only had 5, but in comparison to them, I think it was 1. And we had some ones in some crucial situations that gave first downs. But my bottom line to them was, we got to get better in every aspect. And the things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
Brock had some rushing yards from scrambles that he made plays on. But as far as your consistent running game, I know ideally you like to get 40 runs if you can. And some of that's game circumstance, but last few games it's been rough getting it going. What do you think's playing into that? Yeah,
we haven't been able to create as much space in the run game. I got away from it a little bit there in the second half. And also you got to I think we ended up 3 of 8 on 3rd down, which you got to do better on 3rd down and be able to get that going. I thought we had a couple chances for creases, and the guys didn't make a tackle and just missed those. We had a couple good runs, especially the first one of the 3rd quarter. We had a holding call, one on the first one of the game that got us into 2nd and 1, and then the next 2 runs don't move the chains for us to go 3 and out on the opening play of a 8.5-yard run. So got to get some better looks, got to run better, block better, and just do better as a team.
Related to the second interception with that Mike just being further into coverage than he would be if the run game were firing?
No, we were in empty, so they know we're throwing when we're in empty. It was just quarters, and Mike's usually there in quarters. He thought he overran it, and he didn't.
You touched on some of the issues over the last 3 weeks. Are there certain things, specific areas that are of major concern to you going into this bye?
I think I've kind of said all of them. There's not one thing I'm going to pinpoint. I think we need to run the ball better. We need to score more points. And we need to slow guys down better, whether it's with pass rush, whether it's doing better on 1st and 2nd down. I want to say they had, I'm not going to say this exactly right, but when you get 20 first downs, I think 17 of them are on 1st or 2nd, something like that. So we got to get in some more longer 3rd downs, and when we do, we got to get them off the field with a sack if they hold on the ball that long and not let them break that pocket.
Does any of this add urgency to the trade deadline? Is that something that
No, none of this changes anything with the trade deadline, how we played today or how we played these last 3 weeks. When you sit and you watch tape, when you're out there on the field, and I know how these last 2 weeks especially have felt, but I do believe we have the answers in our building. I believe we have good players. I believe we have good coaches. It's up to me to get them to do better. I thought we started out pretty good, but there's some things that we haven't been able to hide here these last few weeks, and that's why we got to continue to push them in every aspect, because some people do go on these losing streaks and they don't have those answers, and you're just living in hope. I truly believe we do have the answers. I believe we got them on our team. I believe we got them with our staff, and we got to sit here and wait about 14 days to deal with this feeling that we have, which nobody wants. But I think we need to. I think our guys need to be pissed off a little bit. I think we need to come back with a little better focus, because it hasn't been enough, and we haven't been getting it done.
Speaking of your staff, I mean, what's your level of support or confidence in Steve Wilkes right now?
This isn't on any one coach or any one side of the ball. And we haven't scored over 20 points here in 3 weeks too. So I think our defense needs to do better. I think our offense needs to do better. I think our team needs to do better. And when I say our team, I mean every single player in there, and I mean every single coach.
There was less blitzing today. Was that part of the kind of consensus, or was that Steve just saying it wasn't the right time to blitz today?
It's going to be a little bit different each week. I think it looked like we did less today, and if we're going to, whether we blitz or whether we don't blitz, and what do we do throughout the game, you got to be sound football. You got to make the plays. Can't give that much space, and you got to get to that quarterback. When you don't get to that quarterback, you got to make tackles, and we didn't do any of that stuff today. So it's not just because of a call here and there or a style. It was a little bit of everything.
When you talk about how you need to have a little bit better focus, do you feel that, especially after the first 5 weeks, there's been a bit of a lack?
No, I don't mean that. I mean, I say focus because winning football games is about who does right longer for 3.5 hours. And I think in our first 5 games, we didn't always do right longer. We just made a bunch of plays and were able to get up on people and win by a couple scores. And I think when that happens, those little mistakes aren't as crucial. And it hasn't been the case these last 3 weeks. We haven't been able to overcome some little mistakes, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a penalty, whether it's a drop, whether it's a missed tackle. And that's kind of what I mean. You can't just focus in a game for 3.5 hours and pick that up. It's how you focus throughout the week, just to make every single play like it's the biggest play in the game. And we've gotten away with a number of stuff on our win streak, and we haven't in these last 3 weeks. And I still believe we've had every chance to win all 3 of these games. And that one got away from us the most. That's what's going to happen when we turn it over like they're at the end, and when we do answer and they go right down and score again. That was our opportunity to get back in the game, and we missed that. So it's not one guy. It's a whole team, but everyone has their part in it.
On some level, how surprised are you by the defense the last couple of weeks, given how well and how dominant at times they were the first 2 rounds?
I mean, every week I know there's a chance for it to go either way. I'm pretty realistic about the NFL, but I do expect us to get better each weeks, and I definitely expected us to be better versus Minnesota than we were versus Cleveland, and I thought we'd be better today than we were versus Minnesota, and that wasn't the case, and that's why I got to look into it and find out why.
You guys, like you alluded to, you scored 17 points in 3 straight games. How much can that be traced to Debo not being there and Trent being there? How much of an impact does that have on the offense?
I mean, good players allow you to overcome mistakes sometimes, and they can hide stuff, kind of like what I was saying earlier. I don't think we didn't score enough points because we turned it over on 1st and goal on the 7. I believe that we didn't do good in running the ball when we had some chances in 2nd and 1 and 3rd and 1 where I thought we would have stayed on the field. I always feel confident with our players that we're going to move the chains and score, and it's, do we not hurt ourselves? And that's not to take anything away from any other team. They make it difficult on you. But I think we've hurt ourselves a lot in these last few weeks too. And then when you get in those situations and you are a little bit more one-dimensional at the end and you're passing every time, yeah, you're going to notice not having Trent out there and stuff like that. But that's when we're already in that situation. I mean, we shouldn't have been there. And when that's the case, yeah, you can have some great guys bail you out of some stuff, whether it's Debo taking a screen to the house or Trent being able to hold up in protection longer. But by no means are those reasons why we lost these games. It's just harder to overcome. All right, thanks.
on the first interception, the one that should have been a handoff.
Yeah, man, I should have handed it off. Simple as that. It was an option play with George coming backside to toss it to him. Once I pulled it to go toss it to him, it wasn't there. So I tried making something up and just scrambling to the right. At that point, I got to know that the linemen are downfield, and I just got to try to get what I can get. But to throw the ball in itself would be a penalty, and I got to be better. So I saw Elijah in the corner of the end zone, tried making something happen there, but regardless, it would have been a penalty, so that's on me.
Brock, you only cleared protocol yesterday. How did you feel? Did you feel like you were 100% or as mentally sharp?
Yeah, no, I felt 100%. All week, my symptoms and stuff weren't as bad compared to many other concussions that the team has had, and I was doing fine and was doing great for each phase of the protocol. And then when I got cleared, we all thought I was going to get cleared, and sure enough, I did. So I felt 100% going into this game.
The game, it looked like you took a pretty hard hit. Your head hit the turf pretty hard. Did that feel anything?
No, yeah. It was just the typical whiplash of a play like that, head goes back, hits the ground. But, it's like any other body part. You get hit and shake it off a little bit, so I'm good from that.
When you guys were 5-0, you were making it a point every week to say, I'm not going to let all this attention define me or who I am or how I go about my job. And maybe it's easier to do that when you're winning, but now you've been tested with 3 straight losses. What's your thinking now?
Yeah. Obviously, I want to be better, for this team, for this organization, just taking care of the ball in some crucial parts of the games. That's the NFL, man. It comes down to it. You're not going to just blow teams out every week. You take care of the ball, and you got to play good team football. And, that's where I'm at with that. But in terms of, you have 3 losses, and as a quarterback, you take a lot. I take that on myself, where I could be better for this team and helping us win. But man, like who I am and what I stand for, that doesn't change. Everyone can say what they want, but I know who I am as a person, and my faith, my relationship with God is the most important, and I'm going to continue to rely on that. It's gotten me to this point in my life, and I'll always be with God and stand firm with God. So I know He'll take care of me regardless. So.
How would you diagnose, first 5 weeks you go 30-plus every game, last 3 have been 17. How would you diagnose what's kind of gone wrong offensively? What are kind of like the main focuses as you go into the 5-week year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just finishing drives. We'll get the ball moving and we'll start rolling, get first downs, and then, there's just some third downs that we got to convert and be better at, especially down in the red zone. There's, points to be put up for us. And, whether that's a field goal or obviously converting a third down and continuing the drive to score, like it's as simple as that. We're just handcuffing ourselves with certain plays. That's really what it is. But, we'll move the ball and feel good about it, but we just got to continue to finish those drives. It's as simple as that. So, yeah.
How about the absences of Devo and Trent a factor in this lack of protection by the offense?
Honestly, I think the O-line has done a great job. Obviously Trent is probably the best in the league, obviously at his position. So yeah, of course we want Trent out there. Debo as well for how explosive he is. But there's still plays out there to be made, and we're still moving the ball. This offense is good. The players that we have in it is good. To have those guys back would be great. Obviously, they're really good, and we love playing with them, and they bring just a juice and energy to the offense that we need for sure. But yeah, simple as that.
How do you balance playing free but also pressing in those late game situations where you've had some of those turnovers?
Yeah, there's definitely got to be a fine balance to that. It's like, man, trusting the play, trusting what we're trying to do, the boys trying to get open, the offensive line, the protection, the play call, trusting that. And then, if it's not there, try to make something happen, but don't force it. And clearly, and towards the end of the game, that's what I was doing was, starting to force things and not see things clearly. With the second pick to Ayuk, it's like, man, don't force things and let the game come to you. And if it's not there, then try to make something happen. But even when you're trying to make something happen, be smart with it as well. So definitely a fine line to it, and I had to learn the hard way today.
How do you view having the bye week now?
Say that again.
How do you view having a bye week now with the timing of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously going into the bye week, it's like, man, you want to win, have some momentum created for the second half of the season. To have a loss like that, it hurts. Now we have to wait 14 days to play our next game for our next shot, our next opportunity, and it hurts. We have a bad taste in our mouth. But at the same time, it's like, man, this is going to be a good time for us to do some reflection, and I think all of us are really hungry for the second half in this stretch that's about to go down. So we'll be ready for it.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
Fred, you still have confidence in Brock, even though he struggled the last couple games?
You want me to say no? I mean, come on now. Like, the thing is the quarterback is always going to receive the brunt of the criticism. But Brock is like the least of my worries. Brock is made of the right stuff. Yeah, can he protect the ball better? Sure, but he's the reason why we have a chance to win games in every single game that we're in. Like, right now, I can't – like, the common denominator right now is that I haven't been able to say in the last 3 losses that, man, the defense had our best outing, we just happened to lose. We're not playing good football on our side. And that's the reason why we haven't won the last 3 games. And that's got to get figured out. And it will get figured out. The bye will be great for us. People want to say, oh, man, it sucks. Like, we can't just get the taste out of our mouth after a quick turnaround. Like, we had that opportunity this week, and we didn't get it right. So I'm going to look at it as, a good reset to be able to go into the bye and figure this thing out and get back to playing 49er defense, because right now we're not.
Assuming that what you just said about the defense is the most of your worries right now, what specifically are the things that are going wrong right now in the last few weeks for you guys?
Just inconsistency across the board. I think tackling has been an issue when it hasn't been in the past. Players just got to execute at a higher level, including myself. We got to play more as a unit. There's got to be more hunt to the football at all 3 levels. There's got to be more penalty-free football. Like I said, execution got to be higher. We think that we're preparing hard. We think that we're putting a lot of work in. Obviously, we're not doing enough. There's got to be more. There's got to be more there. It's just what it is.
28 and 32, so uncharacteristic of your defense. What do you see from the pass coverage or the pass defense in general?
Yeah, no, we were going to keep it simple this game and rely on our execution to, play our coverage and with our rush, and it just wasn't enough today. Playing complementary football, and I'll have to look at the tape to see exactly where we were wrong in that phase.
Complementary football and setting a tone defensively. How damaging do you think that first 3rd down was, where you had 2 defensive linemen missed that sack and Earl rolled out?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta be better on 3rd and long. Like, that's got to be automatic off the field. When we get them backed up in a 3rd and long situation. I think back-to-back weeks we had one last week where it was about a 3rd and 12, and we gave up a check down for a first down in the beginning of the game. Same thing this game. But at the end of the day, like, that's not back breaking. Like, I think we gotta be better at bouncing back, off of adversity. Like, who cares if they get a first down, backed up in that situation early in the game? Like how are we going to respond? Like, it is what it is.
Mental toughness last week, is that something that's still lacking? Still lacking?
I mean, we haven't shown that we can play from behind and come back and win a football game. So that's something that we got to address and get better at. We can't just be a team that can only win when we're up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that's something we'll look at.
Is the get overconfident after beating Dallas by 32?
Not at all. I don't think so. I think after we won that game and we're going into the Browns, I think every single week the mindset is just to go 1-0. Like, give your all to, like, just win one game. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, to say that the mindset shifted after that, after starting 5-0, I really don't think so. It just isn't enough. And the easy thing right now to do is to say, is to tuck away somewhere. Stuff is hard. You're down 3-0, kind of hide in the corner. But I promise, like, that's not the type of guys that we got. That's not who I am. I know I'm going to stand tall. I'm going to continue to rally the team. I'm going to continue to show up and put the most work in I can. And words are great. I'm not trying to sit here and just give you a speech, but, like, actions obviously got to lead first. So that's just what we're going to do.
Somebody who's getting some criticism, Steve Wilkes. I know you don't. He's the coach. That's the life you lead. But what do you think about the way he's coordinated? He said that he's kind of learning the defense. Do you think there's an adjustment period still going on?
Yeah, that's at least my worries. Honestly, I think players win games, not coaches. I think he's done a great job. I think right now the issue is, I mean, there's going to be ebbs and flows in a season, especially with a new defensive coordinator. I think the offensive side has gone through that as well when we lost McDaniel. Like even though Kyle is the play caller, like when you lose a coach, there's going to be adjustments being made throughout a season. So we got to continue to work on that. But at the end of the day, players are going to be the reason that we win games. We got to execute at a higher level, player-wise.
The tackling being this year hadn't been much here at all since you've been here. What do you think you put your finger on for what the issue the last few weeks?
Nothing I can really put my finger on. I'm not going to make excuses for why we're missing tackles. We got to tackle better.
Leaders of the defense, what can you say? What did you say to your defensive teammates today?
I said to the defense and to the entire team, this is it. Like, we didn't have a game after this. This was our season right here. There's one game. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, knowing that we had a bye going into the next week, just emptying the tank for one game, and it obviously wasn't enough. All right. Okay.
Howdy. What are you guys doing back there? I love that.
How's your left knee doing? When did you do that?
Turf last week in Minnesota got me. Those turf snakes, man. Goodness gracious. That slit turf? Pretty sure it's like one of 4 slit turf fields left and statistically the most dangerous turf to play on. So, it's all right, though. I'll be all right.
What's your thumbprint on what's going on with this offense? 17 points, 3 games in a row. Is there a common element why you're not scoring more points?
Turnovers, I would say. I don't know. I don't read the stats every single week. I don't feel like as an offense we're running the ball a lot or very much or very well, I think is my number one thing. It just doesn't feel like it. We might. I don't know what the stats are. I know that ever since I've been a 49er, outside zone has been like our number one thing. And I just don't know. We know we've penalties the last 3 weeks, so it's kind of hard to run the ball when it's 1st and 20, 2nd and 15. Like, it's hard to run the ball in those situations, so we have to rely on the pass. And when you have to rely on the pass, it makes you one-dimensional. And one of the best things that we do is run the football. And we just put ourselves in a situation where we can't run the football. And whether that's turnovers, whether that's penalties, whether it's getting down in the fourth quarter, there's no like, hey, what is going to fix this, right? We have a very good, talented football team. We have good coaches, and we're just not winning the game right now. And to me, just being a tight end that usually like tip of the spear, we got to run the football outside zone. I just don't think we've been able to do that because of penalties and turnovers, and us being a one-dimensional football team isn't very good.
Brock had several of those turnovers. What are you seeing from Brock? What did you see from Brock today?
Brock's the reason we're in every single game. Brock's the reason we win football games. He's our quarterback. He's a very skilled football player. I think Kyle probably said it. His first interception, that's a shovel play. He's supposed to either pitch it to me or hand it off. And, I think he might have predetermined it and tried to, give me a shot at the shovel, but it wasn't there. And then he tried to make a play, and, hey, they made a better play. I don't sit back there. Quarterbacks, there's 2 positions in football I would never want to play, and that's quarterback and cornerback. Those are, 2 tough positions, and I don't want, the only thing I'd ask Brock to do is, hey, man, try not to throw interceptions. I don't know. Turnovers are hard. Like, I'm not going to put myself back in his shoes and say, oh, I wouldn't have made that throw. I don't know what it takes to play quarterback. I don't play that position. All I know is that it's hard to win football games when you lose a turnover battle, which we've done 2 weeks in a row. And we obviously just have to play better, and we have to put ourselves in situations where we can run the football more, and we don't have to throw the ball so many times.
Brock after the game?
One thing I love about Brock is he's very hard on himself, and he's he can look in the mirror and say, hey, I need to play better. I'm not going to say that he needs to play better. We need to turn the ball over less, and He's going to be fine. I'm not worried about Brock. He's the reason that we win football games as an offense. You see the 30 points a game in the first 5 weeks. That's Brock Purdy. And it's Kyle Shanahan scheming us up and doing a bunch of stuff, but that's Brock making plays. I mean, and you see Brock, was that the drive to get us, get it kind of close? It was, he makes all these awesome rollout plays, and he's throwing it back across his body, giving us an opportunity to win. That's what Brock does. And he's going to get better from this. I think we're going to get better from this. I know we're going to get better from it. And you look back, hey, last year I think we were sitting at 3-4. We had Christian McCaffrey, added that. We still lost, and we're like, oh, what do we need to fix? We just need to play better. And that's the overall theme. We just need to play better. And I also, losing your third game going into a bye week, God, that's not really fun. But the good news is it kind of, you sit on that and it's going to fester and it's going to be really annoying. And am I going to be able to enjoy my bye week? I will, but the back of my head is just going to be like, let's stop losing. And how am I going to be better? What can I do better? And there's like 3 or 4 plays that I probably could have been better in that football game. And, we'll come back and we'll look at the film and I'm going to play better.
Did this team get overconfident after beating Dallas by 32?
No, I don't think it's a confidence thing. You look at we go into Cleveland, and I wouldn't say overconfident. We should be confident because of the players and the staff that we have. Like, I'm not worried about that. I think it's you look at Cleveland, what do we have, 15 penalties? You can't win a football game with 15 penalties and multiple turnovers. You can. It's just really, and then, we had an opportunity to win at the end. We didn't. And I don't think it's an overconfidence thing. I think it's Grant, I can't give you an answer on why we're losing besides turnovers. I don't think we're running the ball enough. And situationally, I don't think we can run the ball because of the situation we're putting ourselves in. And, I think, we have an offense with explosive players all over the football field, and, we can win these games. And we had an opportunity down there. We're at 17-10, and, hey, we have a turnover. Turnovers really hurt you. And, I'm not going to – there's no pointing fingers like that. Like, there's plays that can be made all over the football field. But it's hard to win football games when you have 3 turnovers.
Usually this is when this team is rolling, keep it going. Is it weird to start so well and didn't have this as opposed to maybe start slow and finishing strong?
Losing is weird in general. I hate it. It sucks. I'd much rather win. But, years past, we backed ourselves into a corner, backs against the wall, whatever it was. And, we dug down and we went on runs and we were able to put ourselves in positions to get into the playoffs. And, what's football without a little adversity? And you don't want it to be easy all the time. You want to go through these grimy games, these crappy games, I guess. You'd prefer to win them, but I think we have the team, we have the men on this team that are going to respond well to adversity. We're going to do our best, and we're going to go out there and we're going to play at a higher level. We're going to play better.
You mentioned the outside zone. Our team, our defense is selling out to stop that more so than maybe they have in the past.
I don't know. First play of the game was outside zone, went for 8 yards. You can sell out against it. There's certain plays that we run them better than anybody else. It's a copycat league. You see people run them all over the league, and they don't run them nearly as well as us. You don't have the offensive line, the tight ends, the fullback, the running back that runs like we do, the wide receivers that block downfield like we do. Like I said, I love running outside zone because when you have outside zone, you get to run play action, bootlegs, keepers, all that off of it. And when you have turnovers and you have penalties and you're playing behind the sticks and you're playing down, it's hard to run the football and get access to all those plays. And so we need to be cleaner up front early on so then we can continue to run the football, run outside zone, run some gap scheme, and be the physical 49ers offense that, we know and love.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. No, thank you guys. You guys have a good one.